Hey guys, this is Master Flowers or Bubba. This is gonna be a response video for Tanner, Tewalker13. He was asking for some character design ideas for his campaign, so we can make him up and make sure that he doesn't get any flaws, basically, I guess, in his system or any snags that might come up maybe ahead of time before he starts playing with it. Excuse me. I came up with a quick idea. Originally, I was when I was listening to you and listening about your setting, and I was thinking in my head immediately that I wanted to do some sort of maybe diplomat class or something where I was an intellectual, um, who dealt with the fan on a personal basis to try to help them, as I think that would be helpful in any type of game that I was playing in when I'm dealing with when you're two specific factions. You have your human faction and then you have your fae faction. But great minds think alike, and I noticed that Brady came up with that idea, and so kudos to him. So I tried to go for something else that was slightly different, but in the same track. I didn't come up with a name. If you want to give him a name or something like that, you can call him Red. But I know this is more just a physical exercise for you to go through the numbers as opposed to really character design. Um, so the concept I have is just a basic a character who's slight of build, not extremely strong, probably smaller than average for his size. If I had to give him a bonus to one of his stats, I would probably put one into endurance. That I think he's fairly hardy, but he's just not a physically imposing or agile person. Um, I picture him in my head as being, probably like I don't know what the average height is in your world. Let's say if the average height of the male human is 6 feet, he'd probably be about 5'5" or 5'4", and he's known for his shock red hair, and he's got kind of very pale, light skin, no matter how much sun he gets, and he doesn't really tend to burn or anything like that. So he's not like really fair skinned where he would go out in the sun and get burned right away. It's just just his skin tone is light. And he would be the third child in a family of five, where he has four brothers. So he's a big family, and they're kind of a mercantile family. I kind of just thought of them as being antique dealers, and this really gets into his background as to what his skills are. But everyone in his family, they all have dark hair. They all have like black hair, or dark brown or whatever black hair. And as being the middle child with red hair, there was always that kind of that stigma of how come, where did this red hair come from and this light skin when they were all darker skinned with like jet black hair. And I think that basically I wanted to have him have a slight fae background. Now where that comes in, it doesn't matter, whether his mother was with some fey creature or made a pact with a fey creature to bless them or whatever. Excuse me. Needless to say, he doesn't stay with his family because of the way his personality is. I have him. He as a kind of like a class of what he would do is since his family dealt in antiques or antiquities based on the past, when maybe during the wars, there would have been things that might have been left over from the other kingdoms. Either people brought them into the bastion with them, or maybe they kind of pop up every once in a while in the outskirts, or someone's farming, they might find something. And these are things that I think that people would want to collect or get, and maybe even fey artifacts. Maybe they're, I don't know, pixie arrows, or I don't really know much about how your wars were fought, but so I really thought that the family kind of dealt in that stuff, and then there was a falling out with the family, and he leaves, and he becomes kind of a rogue, but not a rogue as in really dealing with the thieves guild. I didn't really see him. He might have small amounts of thievery skills, but for the most part, his ability to um, I guess if I would have given him magical talents or abilities would be to become invisible, and that's how he goes about if he would steal stuff. Now, I had two concepts for him. One was to be kind of a, like I would call a spell filter class, where he would go out and go into the woods, and maybe he could, through cunning, as opposed to like having a strong personal presence or anything like that, just through guile. I guess he would be able to get people to do what he wanted, and maybe he could effectively trade with the Fae or whatever for artifacts that he could sell to the human population, and maybe it even goes back and forth where the humans trade with the Fae as well. Maybe there's certain Fae out there that want, for some reason, they want to collect, the left sock of the humans. I don't know, whatever. Um, and that's the type of thing that he would do. He would go out and deal with them. So I would want him to have Fey knowledge. Um, Probably something about maybe local history or some other history as well that would allow him to kind of know the hot spots for where these things would be. Power is the only power really I thought I'm having besides basic thieving skills, but more I think his ability to use invisibility. Whether it's a low, I don't really think that he would be invisible for a long amount of times, but I kind of have this image of him being able to turn invisible, for a small amount of time, maybe the length of time he could hold his breath or something, and then just get past a guard or something and then move on. Or if there's trouble in the woods, he's not a fighter. He's not going to fight his way out of it. And if his cunning doesn't get him out of it, then he's going to, turn invisible real quick and get the hell out of there as quick as possible. So I think that's really how I see him. Basically he's not a fight or flight. He's a flight guy. If he can't talk you down, then he's going to run, and he's going to run fast. Hence why the endurance. Excuse me. Besides, I didn't really see him. I mean, besides, I didn't want him to be, it's hard to say. Like, you want him to be somewhat diplomatic, but I really kind of consider him kind of abrasive and kind of self-centered and kind of an asshole for the most part when he's dealing with people. But I think through cunning, he can really trick people into doing what he wanted. Um, Maybe he does research to find out what their weaknesses are or what they need. Then he has no problem with getting them to do what he wants, by doing that. I can't think of. I mean, it's without having like an exacting list of all the different skills or talents or class stuff that um, I would want him to have. I do know that I would will want him to be Fey like. I know that, like I said, physically he's not intimidating at all. Though I think he would be fairly, probably from a life of running away, he would probably have fairly decent endurance. Um, Intellectually, he's probably, for the most part, average. Though I think he would have higher than average awareness, maybe. And I don't know if it would be better to have it as a skill or a trait or something, but I think that his ability to um, perceive and identify things that are of value. Maybe it's a magical ability he has, like, dwarves can find gems or gnomes can find gems or something. That kind of inborn thing. It could be part of his Fey background. Um, Maybe that's a power in itself. I don't know. The ability to detect things that are worth money or worthwhile to collect. And he might not know exactly who might need something. He might see something that's, maybe it glows lightly or sparkles with fairy dust, like an herb, and he can be like, what is that for? And then he might collect it. He might not even know what the name of the herb is, but he would know there's some value there, and that could be a whole part of him trying to figure out who that would go to. Maybe Brian's character would need it. I don't know. So let's see. He's got the intellect, skills, powers. So I said the Fey background. Other talents, I couldn't really think of anything. I know that your skills are broad based, so I know that thievery kind of covers a lot of the basic stuff, and I don't really see him being a fighter. I don't know if you could think of any other of your skill sets that might go along with being part of a mercantile type um, skill set, possibly that he learned from his family before his whole separation from them. Um, but yeah, if you have any other questions, man, just drop me a PM or whatever, and I'll definitely get back. I hope this makes some sense. I just got home from work, and I'm still a little drugged up from all the medicine I'm on, but I wanted to get that out there for you and kind of see what you come up with as a concept for the little bit of information I've given you. So, all right, well, take it easy.